Hello, just making another quick video on a Wednesday afternoon. Just wanted to talk about things in general. The state of the world today. Well, I'm sure y'all watch the news. Anybody that watches this channel and knows its content knows the kinds of things I like to talk about, the points I like to address, and yeah. So what's going on out there, people? How are you doing? I hope everyone's doing well. I'm doing well. In fact, today I had a fantastic interview. Even if I don't get a job from this interview, I'm happy because for me it spells progress. And that's one thing I need in my life is marked progress. So let's talk a little bit about progress. In the world in general, and especially in American culture or Western culture. Now, if you've studied any amount of history, if you've read history, if you've studied geography, and not just casually, but to the point where you can point to Australia on the globe, where you know what the North and South Poles are, and you can point to those on a globe, to the extent that you could point to China on the globe, then you know that in the general course of time, historical time periods, that we are, as a species, as a human species, more advanced and far better off than we've ever been. I think it was the UN's goal to take poverty, the world's poverty, the population of people who lived in abject poverty, in half between 2000 and 2015, and according to experts, they reached that goal in about 2010. Can you imagine how fabulous that is? Okay, if you don't like me using the word fabulous, fuck it. Fantastic. Can you imagine how fantastic that is? Well, no, probably not. If you haven't read history, if you haven't read the history of Western civilization, if you don't have an understanding of geography, if you don't have an understanding of those things, you're probably A, a millennial, B, indoctrinated in the public education system in America, and C, somewhat entitled and spoiled, and D, have no concept of the world outside your own sphere of experience and your own observations. No concept of it. Now, I'm going to put a caveat in here for people who have traveled the world. Now, I haven't traveled the world, but I've been to Mexico about 200 times, mostly to Nogales, Mexico, right? The border town right on Arizona and Mexico. But I've gone deeper into Mexico too, and I remember the first time walking down dirt streets with sewage running in the gutter, with barefoot kids, many of them who didn't have any pants on, sometimes no underwear either, just an oversized raggedy t-shirt, half of them with shoes, half of them not, and the ones that did have shoes, they were usually too big. I saw corrugated tin roofs, open cooking fires, houses built out of tires, things like this. No running water, no electricity, no clean clothing or bedding. It just wasn't available. Things like toilet paper costing an exorbitant amount. Okay, hospitals not having adequate basic medical supplies like hand sanitizer, gloves, masks, paper aprons, Things like this, just basic things that we in Western civilization take for granted. And it's funny because a lot of these people and I'm not picking on Mexicans. I'm just talking about the mentality of people that I saw who grew up in poverty, who experienced it on a daily basis, who fought over scraps of food, who, understood human behavior on a level that most of us in Western society just don't understand because we haven't had to go there. It's a mentality of where you're justified in doing what you need to do to get what you need to get. Okay, and that often includes graft, cons, sometimes outright theft and robbery. Okay, and it's not looked at the same way down there or in, I imagine, many other poverty-stricken areas of the world as it is up here. Right? It's not looked at as being criminal the way it's looked at up here. Okay? Now, I know you can argue the finer points of, individual consciousness and understanding of, basic norms of human behavior, but I'm telling you, it's just not viewed the same way down there as it is up here. Okay? And you see this seeping into some cultures in the United States. Yes, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it largely exists in minority communities that won't integrate. I don't say don't integrate because that implies that they can't or don't have the ability. It's that they won't integrate because they have this mindset of Western culture is bad. I need to get what I can get, and it doesn't matter who I have to step on in order to get it. Right? It's justified, morally justified. Right? It's survival of the fittest mentality, and it ties in with a tribalist mentality. Now, for the longest time, I have poo-pooed on a tribalistic mindset, okay? But more and more, I'm starting to see the value in not a tribe mindset, but in a group cohesion, right? Belonging to a group. Separating yourself as an individual, yet identifying yourself as being part of a group. So you need cohesion there. Now, I'm not going to use the word community because I see community as code speak for conformity, and I've explained that in other videos. But I just basically wanted to express that, for those people that don't know or that haven't studied history and geography, things like this, who haven't studied art, you should know that human civilization in general is at the pinnacle of where it's ever been before. I mean, we've come so far as a human species and done so fantastically that it's remarkable. It's almost unbelievable. Now, I've been listening to Jordan Peterson a lot, and I would recommend you listen to him too. Anybody listen to him. He's got a lot of great things to say. No, I don't agree with everything. But one of the things he says is that it never ceases to amaze him when he flips on the light switch and the lights come on. Right? Because we've got this infrastructure that's constantly crumbling, constantly breaking down, and needs constant maintenance. And it's maintained by the people that you don't see on TV, that you don't see on social media. It's maintained by the deplorables. I can't even count myself as one because right now I'm not in the working class. I'm unemployed. But if I were in the labor working classes, then I would be counted as one of those deplorables. The basket of. Right? Well, so I just wanted to bring that to the foreground and say that, for those people out there who don't have an appreciation for Western society, Western civilization, for Western culture, those are the people that want to tear it down. Now, yes, you can make the analogy that the United States or Western civilization is on the brink of collapse much like Rome was on the brink of collapse from, spreading itself too thin, becoming too bureaucratic, absorbing so many other cultures and ideas, absorbing so many other people with disparate ideas, disparate ideologies, disparate intentions, incongruous ways of looking at the world, and Rome fell. Rome fell hard, and it never ever came back. So that's where we're at. Yes, we are at the pinnacle of achievement as a human species, but we're also on that precipice of collapse. And it almost seems inevitable. And the thing about collapse like that is that once that happens, it's never going to come back in the same way, to the same degree. And certainly not in your lifetime or in the lifetime of your children's grandchildren. It's going to take a millennia, 1,000-year period for a civilization to recoup from that and to get back to where it once was. So, I think that's kind of important because it means that me as an individual, I have a responsibility to contribute something to Western civilization. It's no accident that I was born here, and I used to think that, I wouldn't be proud of the color of my skin or of my culture, of my heritage, my ethnic heritage, because it was pure accident that I wound up being born into it and being born where I was. But no, I'm learning that that's just not the case. What is the case is that people in my culture, in your culture, they worked for hundreds of years to get where we are now, to push their culture where it is now. So, yes, I'm ethnically Irish. You could say I'm white, and I was born in the United States. Well, that is no accident because my people took their heritage and their traditions and they improved it. They built upon that. They moved to a better place where they could exercise greater freedoms, where they could exercise freedom of thought, freedom of speech, and they built something here. And so, no, it's no accident that I was born here at this time in world history. And so, yes, I do have an obligation to preserve the culture that I come from, to preserve the heritage that helped shape me and who I am. And I just want that message to resonate with those of you who have those values, who do want to preserve Western civilization, who understand that we are at the best place in time that we've ever been in before. And more importantly, so that you can recognize the motivations and intentions of those who want to tear it down. And you'll be able to do that through language. The more you read, the better you're going to get at language. And the more you understand language, you'll understand how it evolves. And once you understand how it evolves, you're going to see that it's being deliberately degraded. It's being deliberately degraded in the public education system, in our government institutions, and especially in entertainment, right, and social media. You've got all this crazy stuff going on with the NFL. Now, the Weinsteins are in trouble for, I can't believe the guy isn't being charged. But anyway, I'm starting to go off on a tirade. Just wanted you all to think about that in general. And know that I do have some appreciation for Western civilization, and I'm beginning to appreciate it more and more the more I see how the rest of the world is moving forward or not moving forward. So let me know what you guys think. Feel free to leave a comment down below, thumb this video up or down according to your whim, and I hope you're all doing well. Take it easy.